So, I watched Jason Whitlock this morning, and Jason Whitlock and Steve Kim said that they don't want to take away the athletes' money, and TJ Moe was very adamant that he wanted to take away their money. And he wanted to take their money away because why would they listen to anyone? It makes them bulletproof. They feel insulated by their money because they all have these guaranteed contracts for the most part, and they're basically set for life after one contract, just the guarantee of it. As long as they're out there and pretending that they might care a little bit, they're good. Well, he made the comment that it feels un-American to take away their money. I think it's un-American for these guys to make so much money because they're screwing over their fellow Americans. It's not un-American, it's pro-American. They're charging so much money for a lesser product. And when these guys are set for life, listen, how hard could you possibly work if you know you're set for life and you're not working for your next contract, you're not working for your next payday? And when you're set, like Tom Brady is a unicorn. He was set for life shortly after he got in the NFL, but he worked so hard to be the absolute best. That's rare. And I've heard this about professional fighters. When they make so much money, I think it was Conor McGregor that I really heard this about, when he made like $100 million on a fight. Like, how hard could he work? And how much could his heart really be in it to put himself in harm's way when he doesn't have to? When he first got into fighting, that was literally how he ate. How he put food on the table, roof over his head. But after you have $100 million, why do I need to go in there to get my brains bashed in? And WWE is copying this model. And apparently ESPN is losing money. And as an American, you have to pay more to watch this inferior product than the rest of the world, because they want to get the rest of the world hooked, and then they'll screw them, as they're currently screwing Americans. And then Jason Whitlock did go on to say that he thinks that like DraftKings and FanDuel, and they shouldn't have them as sponsors. And then TJ Moe's like, that is taking away money. And all this, like the NBA is on Peacock and NBC again. So that means Peacock's going to go up. That subscription. Where is all this streaming services is going to take away from cable? Because it's so cheap and it's just going to get rid. Like, cable is now becoming cheaper, because you get all that stuff wrapped into one instead of paying for 12, 15 different services. To where I heard, like, to watch all the NFL games, it's like $1,500 for a year. Because before, you could just get the NFL ticket, you're good. That's all you had to do. But now you have to get that and Peacock and Prime Video. You need to have YouTube TV for one, or YouTube for one. You need to have NFL Network for one, NFL Plus for another, ESPN app, and it's just, you need to have cable. It's insane. So these athletes can have all this money to put out an inferior product. You and I have to be screwed. And now there's all this gambling where I don't like it, never have, never will. And we're starting to see what some of the issues are. But I wasn't even thinking about them scamming on sports and making money. It's all the people that are addicted and are going to ruin their lives. I'm thinking about the common man, not the athletes that's screwing over the common man. I didn't even think about that. The athlete making $100 million so he can get just a little bit more money. He's going to screw over others so he can help his friends. And then Coach JB was on Jason Whitlock and said, Phil Donahue, I believe is his name, said 58 of 60 referees were on the take. What? And I know everybody's talked about like steroids being more prevalent, and well, Jason Whitlock was quoting somebody about, because like in the Olympics, somebody was on steroids and stuff like that, and like, oh, it's a level playing field. It's just not the playing field that you think. And is that what it's like in gambling and betting and everything? There's corruption, but on a different plane than what we thought. We thought, okay, yeah, there's corruption right here. Where it's really, the corruption is here, and it's slowly, you're going to see it just, this is sad. And on this line of, Jason Whitlock made the comment that they don't want athletes to be role models anymore. They want them to act like prisoners and rappers and degenerates. Well, yes, they do want them to be role models. They just want them to act like that and role model that degenerate behavior. This is just sad, what's happening in this world. And JB brought up the politician, like the governor for California. He makes $200,000 a year, yet he lives in a $9 million mansion in Beverly Hills. Make that compute. You can't. Because if you put 2 plus 2 together, he needs to be kicked out of office. That's what 2 plus 2 equals. And that's probably 99%, give or take, of political figures have done something to where they have proven that they're not ethical enough to be in office. Because all these politicians are going in poor, and they make X amount, which doesn't make them rich. They make a decent living, but then they're rich. And I've made a video about her, Condoleezza Rice. She's in education and politics her whole life, yet she's worth $14 million, and she's a part owner of the Denver Broncos. What the heck is going on? And if people don't want to see it, they're afraid to see it because then they have to do something about it. I don't know. I really don't. But you know what will make this all better? I say it all the time. God. If you are following Him, you're not going to do all this stuff. At least a lot less. And if you are doing this, then you're not following God. You're fooling yourself into, I am. And you're just using it to make yourself feel better about what you're doing. It's been harder and harder to watch sports anyway because the product is inferior, because they don't allow them to practice. So how can you possibly be good at something that you're not allowed to practice at? All the rules to protect everyone and make it easier for the quarterback. But then we talk about the quarterbacks now are putting up great numbers. Like, whatever. Give yourself to God.